The topic, J.J. Watt. The question, will he be able to bounce back from his injury? Let's just get into it. So when it comes to J.J. Watt, there's no doubt about it that a big part of how he's successful is just technique. Like a play like this. He's going up one-on-one against the Chargers right tackle right here, and what he's going to be doing on this play is going to be something called a rip move. This is what he does a decent amount. He's very good at this. This is one of his better moves, and the way it works is basically he's going to get his left hand, he grabs it onto that tackle's right hand, he tries to grab the wrist, and if he can do that, he's then going to get his right arm underneath and try to pull it up. Like, just watch how it works. He grabs the hand and just gets his right arm up like that. See how he moved it up? Now, at this point, 69, the player he's going up against, he can't really have any hand placement whatsoever because, his right hand got completely taken out of the play, and while his left hand can still push J.J. Watt to some degree, that's not really going to do much. And again, with Watt's size, he's not an easy guy to move out of the way. So basically, all you can do is try to push him behind your quarterback with one hand, but how quickly Watt was able to do this, there's really no way you're going to be able to get this play to work. Watt quickly gets over, and he's able to get a sack. Again, that's a technique sack more than anything. Yes, obviously, his speed, his strength, all that stuff factors in, but really technique is how he was able to get that sack more than anything. And this next play is another example. It's going to be the same move. And again, I'm going to actually play this one in real time, so, try to stay with me. But the way it works is that it's going to be the tackle just gets his right arm. That's what you want to do, is you want to get the tackle's right arm out of the way so he can't really get good hand placement. Because remember, for a tackle, proper hand placement would really be to have your outside arm on the shoulder pad. That's what would be ideal. It would be Watt's left shoulder pad. That would be what you ideally want to have happen. But this move completely takes away that outside arm. Again, he's able to grab on, flip his right hand up, and he's able to jump over and get that sack so quickly. Not only is he able to make this play work, but he gets these pressures where, unless it's, a pass that's designed to be thrown in 2 seconds, this is going to be a sack almost every time. So why am I showing some technique sacks? Well, the reason for it is because, even if he has lost a step to some degree, just the fact that he has tremendous technique, that's going to factor in, and that's still going to be an advantage. For Watt, it is kind of a situation where typically, 31 coming off of an injury that ended the season, that's not always a disaster, but when you factor in the fact that he's had several injuries throughout the course of his career, I think that's where the question marks do come in. However, also worth mentioning that the last full time we saw him play, 2 years ago, he had 16 sacks, so he's definitely not a disaster. Will he be able to stay healthy? Well, it's hard to really say. It's going to require some luck, but will he be able to be effective if he doesn't get injured? I think yes. This plays another example of how he could be effective. This is going to show off his IQ. So you see, what you see on the screen. He's going to get chipped right here. It's not a full-on double team. The tight end's going to block him at first, but then run a route. So not a full-on double team, but, a chip with a tight end, that's pretty good for Atlanta. And after the ball is snapped, you notice that he's able to get Watt pretty good. Again, that's a difficult thing to go against. So Watt, now at this point, there's a tackle right in front of him. It'll be difficult for him to totally maneuver around that tackle, but he looks up and realizes, hey, I don't have to. He looks over and sees that Atlanta's center, he's moving over to double team an interior defensive lineman. He's not focused on J.J. Watt at all, but Watt says, hey, I'm just going to run around that way and get some pressure that way. He doesn't get a sack, does get a hit on the quarterback, but at the end of the day, it's still definitely a very good, play and good awareness. And that's the kind of thing where it's like he's a veteran, he still has high football IQ, and he's able to make a pretty high football IQ play there. Now, I do think it is fair to just have some questions, to be a bit concerned about certain things when it comes to J.J. Watt. Like, because of the injury, I think his strength is something that you would hate to see go, because him using his strength, it's a key part of his game. And on this play, it's going to be a one-on-one matchup against the right tackle, and he's just going to go good old-fashioned bull rush here. So he gets both his hands to the inside of the tackle's hands on the chest area and just pushes, and watch how well it works. He pushes him well back, and they can finally latch off, and he gets pressure that causes that to be an incompletion. So Really good play from Watt there. And I also think that his speed is a real factor in his game too, and his explosiveness. Not quite as big of a deal as it is for his brother TJ Watt, but it matters, and it is somewhat of a deal. Like on this play, he is going up one-on-one against the tackle right here, and right when this play starts, you notice how he starts to go to the outside, and the tackle he's going up against actually moves significantly over in that direction, which, it makes some sense. I mean, Watt is someone who, like, for example, if he was going to be going back and going to be trying another rip move, then you want to make sure you get over enough that it's more difficult for him to grab your outside arm. But Watt notices this. He might have noticed this a play or two earlier and said, hey, I can try to get to the inside right here. And so that's what he's going to do. So he's going to try to jump to the inside, and you can even tell by the way Watt is standing right now, he's clearly about to jump towards the middle. And again, he has explosiveness and he has technique, and he's going to get his right hand, kind of slap the tackle's hands away, so therefore he's able to get to the inside. And at this point, I mean, there's nothing you can do as a tackle. Again, Watt just has a technique that you're just not going to get the hand placement you want. And he's so big, if you don't get hand placement you want, you are not going to maybe even be able to slow him down, let alone stop him. He's able to run through. A guard helps out, and Ryan got rid of the ball pretty quickly. So it wasn't a sack, but he definitely disrupted that play, and he disrupts a lot of plays. And I think he still will be able to disrupt plays this next season, even if he isn't necessarily able to, be quite as healthy as he once was and quite as dominant as he once was. I mean, in my opinion, there is no doubt about it. He, at his peak was one of the best edge rushers we've ever seen. Probably the best edge rusher we've seen, I've seen in my lifetime. I'm 25, so in the past, that amount of time that I've been watching football, 15 years or so, he's probably the best that I've seen play purely. And I do actually think that he could be one of those guys who, when he gets later in his career, is able to turn into like a solid guy, maybe a solid rotational player, if that's what he wants to do. And I could see him playing another 5 years, honestly, not at this high of a level, but I could see him being one of those guys that plays past his prime but is still able to be successful, just simply because his technique is that good. His technique isn't going anywhere. That's what I think. But yeah, I think that he'll have another bounce back season. I could see him being a 10-sack guy for sure. I think the bigger question is just, will he stay healthy, not will he bounce back from his injury? And that one I can't really answer for you. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought and what you think about J.J. Watt in the comments below. How good of a season do you think he will have next season if he stays healthy? I always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.